This segment of DelmarvaLife is brought to you by Atlantic Irrigation.
Well, before the break, we focused a lot on how much water your children needs, but there's something else that needs water, your lawn.
Yeah, after all, a well-hydrated lawn can do wonders for your curb appeal. But do you know how much water your lawn actually needs? Yeah, there is a thing such as too much water. DelmarvaLife Sean Streicher spent some time with the folks at Atlantic Irrigation to get us some answers.
A lush green lawn can add serious curb appeal to your home, and many homeowners turn to irrigation systems to help them achieve this sought-after attribute. But if you're not watering properly, you're not doing your lawn any favors.
The majority of the lawns on the Eastern Shore are overwatered probably by more than 70%. One of our major issues we have is wrong time of day watering. Most people, the best time to water is pre-dawn. We want to water prior to dawn when the winds are generally at the lowest point for the day and prior to the sun rising, so it gets time to soak into the soil. You get better depth of root to the grass, so your plant is healthier. And then what happens is the sun comes up and it dries out naturally.
Dale Carey with Atlantic Irrigation says if you water in the evening, you're inviting issues like mold and fungus. But there's plenty a homeowner can do to make sure their lawn is getting the right amount of water at the right time. And it all starts with the control system.
Typically, every irrigation system has a controller, and they're simply an on-off device. They turn on the different zones at different times of the day for whatever watering rate you want. Generally, that's all they are, control, on-off control. So the first line of defense that we have in saving water is at the controller is a seasonal adjust button. What happens is typically when we turn on irrigation systems in April, we run the same schedule from April all the way to November when they're winterized. So that the plants and the grass are coming out of dormancy at that time. In spring, you don't need to water the same rate in April and May as you do in June or July.
Through added accessories like a weather monitoring system, Dale says you can turn your controller into a smart controller.
This is essentially an on-site weather system. How does that work with the irrigation system?
Okay, it takes in consideration solar radiation, temperature, and rain, and two functions of rain, and sends the information back to the controller, and the controller takes that information and calculates the next day's runtime.
So if it should rain on a Monday, the system won't run as long on Tuesday. And if your system isn't set up correctly, you're just wasting time and water.
What typically happens is you go in and get a nice smart controller, and the layout of the irrigation sprinkler heads is incorrect. Key things in now the emission device, the sprinkler heads, the type that are used in the field, is you want proper coverage, and that's generally head-to-head coverage, starting from the outside boundaries, throwing in, making sure one head throws pretty well next to the next one to pick up any spots.
You also want to make sure each sprinkler head is throwing the same amount of water. Dale says one common reason this won't happen is if you're using different types of sprinkler heads.
Another common issue is mixing products. Is you have generally three products that throw water. Gear-driven rotors, as you can see behind me, pop-up spray heads which just have a fine mist, and then there's the old type of impact spray, which they have their signature little sound of t-t-t-t. That's an impact spray head.
Other problems can literally pop up after the system is installed.
In this situation, the irrigation system went in, the trees went in later, and now the trees have grown up, and the irrigation head that's responsible for wetting the turf in that area it's behind the trees.
This is why Dale says it's important to watch your system run through each zone at least once a month, while keeping an eye out for broken lines and sunken sprinkler heads so that you can address these issues before they become a problem for your lawn.
Now, if you'd like to read more about Atlantic Irrigation, just go to WBOC.com and click on our picture right there at the top of the page.
All right, so we've been talking about keeping our lawns watered, and before that we talked about keeping ourselves hydrated. So we're heading into the DelmarvaLife kitchen to make a delicious summer drink, a classic, homemade margaritas. Wow, you do not want to miss this.
Plus, we also learned how to make a perfect go-to party dish, herbed veggie dip. DelmarvaLife will be right back.